Thanks for joining me on the CCLI road trip. I'm Paul Herman, and today I'm talking with Tony Wood, a veteran songwriter here in Nashville. Tony has 29 number one songs to his credit, and as I talk with other writers, they mention Tony and talk about how much they respect him and look up to him. Tony, thanks for being here today.
Thanks for the invitation, Paul. Look forward to it.
Yeah. You know, the recent conversation I had with Zach Williams, He was talking about the song he wrote with you, To the Table. I'd love to hear your perspective on it.
That's one of those funny days because that was first time I'd met Zach. The invitation to write with him through Jonathan Smith. And you do it enough, you trust that you'll walk in with a stranger and maybe 3 or 4 hours later you'll have a song that you both passionately like. I don't understand how that happens, but I've seen it happen enough times to trust it. And so that day the first co-write was To the Table. We were just kind of talking, getting to know one another. And Zach had the idea for that. Wanted to write, I call it invitational in that it's very much come unto Jesus. Yeah. But with the table imagery, the struggle was, he was like, I don't want this to be a communion song. Can we keep it from that? And I was like, I think we can. Now we have some parameters to start writing toward. But the heart of that song just moved me deeply, particularly the line, it ain't nothing he ain't seen before.
Yeah. Me too.
Gosh, it was like when we had that, it was like, okay, I think we're onto something now. Just don't mess it up. Just keep pressing forward, tell the truth, and don't mess up. And then to hear a voice like that, saying that is so believable and so real. Just, loved his heart in that, and loved how that song turned out.
Nice. I've heard you speak at a number of conferences about songwriting. And at those kinds of conferences and retreats, you know, what is the thing that you see the most often that might be a mistake that aspiring writers make?
I think a thing that I end up talking a lot about is focus of what is the one truth that this song is saying. Yeah. I think I'm aware of that because it's a mistake that I made as a young writer about there's this excitement and this energy and I want to put everything that I'm thinking into this one song. And sometimes you get too much in one song and you just feel it in songs that are can be poorly written that way. It's like, wait a minute, where are we? I'm lost in the woods of the song. I think every great song tells one truth. And sometimes I've referred to it with writers as like the North Star. What is the North Star? What is the one truth? Songwriter Stephen Sondheim said you ought to be able to write at the top left-hand margin of the paper in one sentence, what is this truth in this song? And then so you evaluate every line in the song about, am I supporting this? Am I supporting this? Yeah. And I think just clarity and focus that brings to writing really cleans up a lot.
Yeah. Sitting in these sessions, you know, I hear a lot of do's and don'ts about lyrics and crafting lyrics. But it also seems like the melody side of things is a little more mystical and magical, you know? I mean, any thoughts on how you approach melodies?
Well, since I'm far more on the lyrical side, it's my co-writers that are generally bringing that. I don't speak as much into that, but I sit and watch them come up with things that move me. And then that just kind of stir up jealousy in me because I'm sitting there going, well, wait a minute, that's just a 1 chord and a 4 chord, but you made me feel it. I felt that combination in other songs before, but continue to be in the room with gifted guys that do something that's just a little different, just a little fresh, and you just feel it. Yeah, I love that.
And along those lines, do you see them? Does their chord progression drive the melody, or is it the other way around?
In the best of scenarios, I think it's not driven by the chord progression. As a writer, I started off writing like 100% songs of my own, just because I was by myself at a small church in Virginia writing some songs, and I could like what I call functionally write a melody. G chord, da 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 da, C, da 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 da. I can functionally create a melody. But I got feedback kind of saying, your lyrics are okay, your melody was really average and plain. And it was like, okay, I think I kind of realized, I think what they're saying is true. And I knew that my passion was. And yet coming here to town in early co-writes, sometimes with some guys. There was a guy, Scott Crepane, that I wrote a lot of songs with early on. And there was a song one day that we were writing, very specific target for an artist that we knew. And I wrote a lyric that I think this is kind of the right lyric. And we sat down like on a Tuesday morning in a chair. He looked at the lyric and he goes, "Oh yeah, I think this is great. Okay, give me a few minutes, go make some calls, go get some coffee."
Yeah.
And he sits there and never touched the piano, but just worked it in his head. And watching that happen. Then, so, 20 minutes later, he goes, "Okay, I think I've got it. What key do you want me to play it for you in?" It's like, okay, that is that melody. That is like an antenna that tunes into something out there that I don't have that, but I'm grateful for guys that do, that just hear melodies that are more alive than some other melodies are. Just the ones that there's something in that interval that just pulls and tugs at you.
But you get the front row seat.
To sit and watch it happen.
Yeah.
And then to try to fill in the dots sometimes.
Yeah.
That's great fun.
Wow. Cool. So then along those lines, Tony, are there any recent songs that you're particularly excited about?
Yeah, Paul, there really is. There's one that probably is just a few weeks old at this point. That it's a song called "Disturb Us, Lord." A good friend and co-writer, Dave Clark, called me up one day. He said he was teaching a class, and he pulled up this old poem by Sir Francis Drake from the 1600s, and he read some lines. And the title "Disturb Us, Lord" was tucked in the poem, and it was some other great lines in it, like, when we've arrived at our destination to find that we sailed too close to the shore, and things like that about not really living and not going for it. And he's like, there's a song for the church in here somewhere. I lived with it for 10 days of going, oh, there's a song here. And I'm a late night guy, so I'm generally up from 11 to 1 or 2 sometimes, kind of stewing over these things, trying to get it going myself. And a couple of nights of working on it, because I wanted it to be, I was thinking about all the ways that the Holy Spirit works. I mean, sometimes such a comforter to us, but sometimes kind of pulling out of us the stuff that needs to change, bringing to our own mind the things that aren't right. Kind of thinking new. I think this is a very church song. I don't know that it's very congregational, but I think it's a heart church message. Got frustrated, went to bed one night, and 10 minutes later cut the light on, and it was like there's that mystical, strange, mysterious part of songwriting. When you stop thinking about it directly, it's like it unfolds itself. So I quit, went to bed, cut the light on in 10 minutes, and wrote 75% of the lyric. Just in 10 minutes at that point, at 2 in the morning, there it is. I know how to do it now. And got with Dave, finished it up, and got with a good friend, Lee Black, who wrote just a gorgeous melody to it. So.
Wow. Amazing. Any final thoughts at all for the aspiring songwriters out there?
For me, the thought that comes to mind is to be faithful where you are. I think everybody starts off writing about the people around them. I know that I sure did. Started writing in high school and wrote songs really to the friends in my youth group about what I saw God doing in their lives, prayers that I had for them. There's a delicate thing in that somebody said a writer just raids other people's lives, and we do, but you better do it with kid gloves and do it very respectfully, and not beat up your friends with your songs, but to write songs of hope and encouragement to them that God can use right there in your local church. Someone in a small church in Nebraska knows more what the needs are of that body than a writer sitting in Nashville could write a little bit more specifically to those needs. So I'd say be faithful where you are. Every songwriting ministry that I've seen God elevate in any way is because somebody started off faithfully where they were and served well there.
Nice. Tony, this has been a great session. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Paul.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. Take care.